Hi everybody, Kitsune Haruri here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a little bit of testing on a couple of different things. One is going to be the difference between UV resin that I'd gotten from Wish, which I've actually been using this for a little bit, but I want to see how it compares to this Signature Crafts Light Cure UV resin that I picked up at Michael's. I'm going to see if there's a difference as far as cure time, hardness, clarity. We'll just see how it comes out. Now, these, the one June 6th that I got off of Wish, just says that it's hard UV resin. You can't read any of it without some sort of translator unless you know, I assume, Chinese. This one says that it is a high gloss. It's for molds, glass, plastic, bezels, everything else. And I have used this over here for all of those. So they should be somewhat comparable. Maybe there's better quality, maybe there's not. Also, I will be testing UV lights. Now, there are all sorts of different ones you can get. There are little flashlight ones. There's the ones that you stand on the table. And these are 3 of the ones you stand on the table. Now, I have been using this little fella that I had gotten from Wish. I have been given one of the UV lights that you use for fingernails from one of my friends. Hi, Bobcat. We're going to see how it compares to this one. And also, I found one at Meijer, a company called Jewelry Made by Me. And that's this one here. So we're going to see how each one of these do, as well as each one of these. We're going to see how long it takes, and also if, you know, what features actually are best. I'm going to start out talking about these guys, though. So the first thing I can tell you is this happy little fella costs like practically nothing. I think I paid like $3 in shipping, which is a typical thing of Wish. You can get something for free, but you're going to pay a few dollars in shipping. It's very lightweight. It's very cheap plastic, and the cord is built in and is only USB. So in order for me to use it, I had to provide my own plug. This isn't hard to come by. You can get them at a gas station these days, but nonetheless, that's how it came. This one, which I have not yet turned on, but I will say I do like this feature where it's mirrored, because it gets the light to go all the way around without having to move the thing around much, maybe except to flip it over. As to why it's like that for nails, the only thing I can figure is so you don't have to move your hand. But this one is for hands and nails, for doing gel polish, so, you know, it'll fit over your hand like that. It does have its own cord. Nice big beefy cord, as a matter of fact. Also has USB, but it had this as well. So that's a nice feature. It's ready to roll. I can just plug it in and go. This one also has an on and off switch. This one does not. You plug it in, it is on until you unplug it. Now, the one by Jewelry Made by Me, it's about in between the weight. Has maybe a little bit more of a width, and with it having no back, you can go further in. But generally pretty close to the same amount of space. This one also came with its own cord, but again, good beefy cord. It's only USB, and there was no way to plug it in. So again, I'll be using my own plug. This one here has 10-second, 30-second, and 60-second timer, as well as the on and off switch, which, if you know exactly how long your resin should take, could be a very useful thing to make sure you're doing your resin properly. So, each one of these I am going to test one at a time by putting 2 dots, one of each of these, on the table. That's going to allow me to test both the resin and the lights. And I do believe the first one I'm going to start out with is going to be this one. The big guy goes first. I know what goes on with this one. I'll explain that later, why it goes last. So let's get these guys out of the way. First thing I want to do is have a look at this and see what it's like when it's turned on. So let me get her plugged in. I do like that nice beefy plug, and it also has a good length on the cord. It's probably about 4 feet long. So if you're working on the table and your plug is down on the wall, you're going to be able to reach. This one, you almost have to be sitting right on top of whatever you're doing. You've only got maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet there. So this guy, let's see what we look like here turned on. Oh, that's very UV. Very blue light. Okay. Turn that back off. I don't know if it's timed. We're going to find that out, I guess. And please excuse my messy mat. If you're wondering about the mat did come from Wish. It is a silicone mat for doing electronics on. And being silicone, the resin won't stick to it, so it's a great thing for me. It also has parts boxes, magnets to hold onto your stuff. It's a very nice item. So the first one, and I don't care if I got bubbles, that's why I'm shaking it. First one I'm going to put down is the one from Wish. There's always a bubble in it. We'll just put this fella right here, if it'll all come out. Alright. And now this one, and I do want to look at something here. Okay. This one says that it should take 60 seconds to get ready. Theoretically, that should be the same. Now, I've never opened this one, so I better see. Yep, there's no seal. Okay. Let's go ahead and give this a try. I'll do a line with this one so we can tell the difference. Okay, so the dot and the line, they're both down. Now, I will say, this one has a funky smell now. Kind of weird and flowery. That one has a funky smell later. I'm kind of used to that. I'm going to set this right over it. Turn it on. And mind my time for 60 seconds. And we'll be right back. Okay, well, I'm going to say, this has just shut itself off, and it looked like it was about 15 seconds. So I'm going to turn it back on. And wait again. Let's see how long it lasts this time. I'm going to leave it on. Still counting. Sorry, this probably makes for some really boring viewing. I'll probably edit it down for what you guys actually see. Yeah, about 15 seconds is how long this lasts. Let me check something. This has now had a total of 30 seconds. I am assuming that's because this only lasts so long because gel nail polish probably sets a whole lot faster, especially since it's a lot thinner. But let's poke this with a toothpick and see what we got going after 30 seconds. Oh, well, yeah. It's still a little tender, but yeah, they are hardening. So let's hit it again. It should be shutting off here in just a moment. Alright, let's check this again. This has now been 45 seconds, and that actually has some heat buildup going on, but not very much. Still tender. I'm going to hit it one more time because that should be the 60-second time for the regular light cure. It does seem, though, that the UV resin that I have gotten from Wish has the same cure time as this one. Alright, this is turned off. This has been a total of 60 seconds altogether. I did have to turn it on 4 times to get that, because it's a 15-second timer. And both are still pretty tender seeming and greasy. By the way, don't do that. Alright, so I'm going to clean this up. We now see that this probably isn't the best bet for a thick set. Maybe if you were doing a very thin set, just like a layer to give something a sheen, this might do okay. Or if you're just looking to use it to adhere something to another. So give me a few moments to get cleaned up, and we will move on to the Jewelry Made by Me UV light. Okay, all cleaned up, ready to go again. This is the Jewelry Made by Me. This one has the 10-second, 30-second, and 60-second timers. And I've already switched out because I could have used the plug from the Gelish light, but you're not likely to have that yourself. So I went ahead and switched it over to the plug that I had on hand, the one that you could easily get anywhere. And we're plugged in there, and as soon as I plug in, it looks like it goes through a test. Let's go ahead and put down our resin. This one too only has about a foot to 2 foot length for the cord. So yeah, you're gonna have to have like a plug strip extension or something to be able to reach it up on a table. Unless, of course, your plug is right there. I have a power strip, that's the only reason I can reach. Alright, and here's our 2 resins. So far what I've seen from the resins, they cure pretty similar. This one seemed to have hardened a little more completely than this one did, but I believe it's because I have more of it on here. They're pretty much the same and same clarity. So this isn't a bad choice if you're just trying out UV resin and have never done it before. Just remember, you're not going to be able to read it unless you find some way to translate that, or you know how to read Chinese. But yeah, this one isn't bad. It's good for a beginner to give a try to. I've also been using some of the pigments and things from Wish, and as you can see, this one settles, but it's like an alcohol ink with pearlescence in it. So probably a mica powder, I'm thinking. You got to shake it up real good before you use it, but it does have good coverage. I got both these real cheap. I'd say it's worth it if you don't mind the wait. If you don't want to wait, if you want to know what you're doing straight off, go ahead and get the stuff from Michael's. It's a bigger bottle too. And actually, this is probably available at just about any craft store you go to. So Hobby Lobby, Joann's, you're going to find your resin. And it'll be on hand that day. So let's park this over here, see what the light's like. Alright, so the first push of the button will set you for 10 seconds. Let's see what that does. The light is definitely... Woo! Oh dear, that made a smell. The light is definitely different. Did 10 seconds do anything for us? Yes. It's actually got an outer shell already on both of them. So 10 seconds, you could adhere with either one of these resins under this light. Let's go ahead and do this full 60 seconds like we're supposed to do. And we'll come back and see what the results are. Alright, at the end of 60 seconds, it automatically turns itself back to the waiting. Let's see what our results are here. Pretty hard. How about this one? That one as well. They both seem to have hardened properly. Let's pop them up off there. See how they are underneath. A little bit tender still on the underside for the Wish resin. Not nearly as tender, but a little bit tender on the store brand as well. So yeah, this seems to work pretty good. This time there's no liquidy residue left. So 60 seconds and you're set to go. That's a very good record. Alright. So that has proven itself. It's time to move on to the last one. Now, I'm going to explain why it was the last one. I have used this one multiple times before, and it takes a long time. That says 60 seconds. I don't think it's going to be done in that time. As a matter of fact, I've had to leave this on for many, many hours to do some projects. But we'll go ahead and try it anyway and see what it does with these two resins. The only resin I have used it with has been this one. So we'll see what it does with the other. Alright, now the last candidate. This is the one from Wish. There are no switches. Has about 1.5 foot cord, and again, you'll have to provide your own end for it. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up because to turn it on, you plug it in. So let's do this. Our dot. Get all these bubbles out. And our line. So first thing I'll do is get it plugged in. Well, it does seem to have the same light quality as the larger gelish light. It's a little bit weaker. And right now is when that cord length becomes a crucial problem. So give me a moment here to finagle this. Okay. So let's go ahead and, whoops, not stick the toothpick in there. Let's go ahead and give this 60 seconds and we'll check it. Okay, it's been 60 seconds. Let's see what we've got so far. There's another drawback right there. As light as that is and as thin as the legs are, it's very unstable. So let's try the first one, and it's still very wet on the underside, but the outside has a little bit of a skin, still squishy. And this one is the same deal. Very wet on the underside. So let's go ahead and let this cure a little bit longer. Alright, a couple more minutes have passed. Pardon me, I was making some pictures for my Facebook page. Let's see how we're doing now. Still very chewy. Still very wet underneath. A little harder here. Let's see if underneath we're actually there yet. And it's pretty wet under there too. Not as wet as that one is, but still pretty wet. I'm going to give this another couple of minutes, but I will say I have worked with this one before, and my results have been waiting an hour or more with this light. So, ooh, that's getting very hot. I'll let it go just a little bit longer, and then we'll see what happens next. If by the next time it's not done, we're going to conclude this whether or not it's ready. And I'm going to continue one more little bit of information on this one. Alright, be right back. Okay, we're back. We're going to give this one more check. And outside still tender on the Wish resin. Let's flip it over. Kind of. Let me see. Ah, come here. Sticky. Really sticky. And wet. Alright, this is the Signature Crafts resin. Again, the outside has hardened pretty well. Chewy on the underside, and again sticky. So this had a grand total of actually about 20 minutes trying to cure these, once I let everything roll for a while. So that's one of the problems here. I was looking at, like I said before, an hour, possibly more, to do even a small cure. This is very hot. I'm going to unplug it. If you'll excuse me leaning through. And here's the other problem. I don't know how well you can see it. Right here, and right here. The plastic is melting from the heat of these lights. I don't think they're proper UV lights. It's weak. It's not very well made. It kind of did the job for a little while, but really not a great product. The resin did fine. It's comparable to the bottle that I got from the actual craft store here. These two are pretty good. They smell funky at different times. Pretty much the same funky smell. The light, not so much. As for the other two lights, this one right here, if you happen to have a gel nail light of this style anyway, it'll do the job, but you are going to be turning it back on multiple times until you're finished. And if you kind of want to fuss with it a little bit, or if you have a shorter time curing resin, it'd be perfectly fine. And this has a very good light. The mirror thing is actually really nice for getting the light all the way around whatever it is you're curing. So not bad. And this end piece is wonderful. It's heavy duty. It already came with its own plug. So this is a good option if you have that sort of option. But the best of the three, for what I have tested today, and there may be better ones out there, in fact I'm pretty sure there probably are, is going to have to be the Jewelry Made by Me UV light with 3 times settings, on and off switch. Unfortunately, you're still going to have to get an end to go along with this to plug it into the wall. But, yeah, for some people that's not such a big problem. It doesn't get hot. This one only lightly gets warm, but that's expected because it's got a very intense light. Honestly, these aren't bad. This one right here runs about $15. So, a good reasonable price as well. I've seen them as high as $30 and $40. So guys, there you have it. I'm going to recommend, yes, either one of these lights and either one of these resins, but stay away from this from Wish. It's not your friend. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, would like to see more, please remember to like, share, comment, and also ring the notification bell and subscribe. Sorry, that word escaped me. I will be bringing you some more of this kind of content as well. I've got a whole lineup of things. It's just a matter of having time to actually do each one, because these are a little bit more time consuming than me just playing with toys. Go ahead and visit my Patreon. I am open for new patrons. Aren't we all, though? And there are some goodies to be had there. If you would like to leave a comment, make some suggestions here, or make some suggestions concerning things on my Patreon, feel free. And guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.